The American automotive landscape is undergoing a dramatic transformation, shaped by two powerful and converging forces: aggressive new tariffs on foreign-built vehicles and the meteoric rise of Chinese automakers. These forces are not only changing the way cars are built and sold, but also challenging the very foundation of the industry that has defined American manufacturing for over a century. On one side, we see the rapid ascent of Chinese companies like BYD, who are not just catching up, but in many ways, setting the pace for the global electric vehicle revolution. Their ability to innovate quickly, scale production, and offer affordable EVs is rewriting the rules of competition. For Ford, a company with deep roots in American history, this moment represents a generational challenge, one that will test its resilience, adaptability, and vision for the future. The Trump administration's 2025 tariffs on foreign-built vehicles sent shockwaves through the industry, upending decades-old supply chains and cost structures. Suddenly, the cost of doing business globally has risen, forcing automakers to rethink sourcing, logistics, and even where they build their cars. Meanwhile, Chinese companies like BYD are setting the global pace in electric vehicle technology and manufacturing efficiency, outpacing Detroit's legacy automakers. Their relentless drive for innovation and cost leadership is putting pressure on American companies to keep up or risk falling behind. These aren't separate issues, they're deeply intertwined, creating a volatile and unpredictable environment that demands bold strategic action from industry leaders. The decisions made today will ripple across borders and generations. Tariffs, intended to protect American industry and jobs, also raise costs for Ford's global operations, making it harder to compete on price and efficiency. Every new policy decision has a direct impact on the bottom line and the ability to invest in future technologies. At the same time, the relentless innovation coming from Chinese brands highlights the urgent need for American companies to become more agile, technologically advanced, and cost-efficient. The race is no longer just about building cars, it's about building the future of mobility itself. Ford's leadership now faces a dual-front battle. They must absorb the immediate shocks of tariffs and policy changes, while also preparing for a future where the rules of global competition have fundamentally shifted. The pressure is immense, and the stakes could not be higher. As the industry pivots toward electrification, automation, and new business models, Ford must decide how to allocate resources, where to innovate, and how to maintain its identity in a rapidly changing world. The choices made now will shape not just the company, but the future of American manufacturing. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The decisions made in this pivotal moment will determine whether Ford remains a leader in the next century or becomes a relic of the past. The world is watching, and the stakes have never been higher. The 2025 tariffs didn't come out of nowhere, but their impact was immediate. In April, the Trump administration imposed a sweeping 25% tariff on foreign-built vehicles, targeting automakers with global supply chains. For Ford, whose vehicles often contain parts from around the world, this meant higher costs even for cars assembled in Michigan. The timeline was chaotic. Some tariffs hit in May, others were delayed, making business planning nearly impossible. Ford's global model, optimized for efficiency, suddenly became a liability. The company now faced a direct assault on its financial stability and had to rethink its entire global operation. The question was no longer just about building great cars, but about surviving in a new era of protectionism. The financial hit from tariffs was swift. Ford's Q1 2025 net income dropped to $471 million, down from $1.3 billion the year before. With a potential $1.5 billion tariff impact looming, Ford made a bold move. It suspended its full-year financial guidance. This signaled to Wall Street and the public just how unpredictable the environment had become. Ford's rivals, GM and Stellantis, followed suit, underscoring the industry-wide crisis. Suspending guidance wasn't just about numbers, it was a watershed moment, forcing Ford to reassess every aspect of its business. The mission was clear: mitigate new costs, protect profitability, and adapt to a protectionist world. The era of predictable global trade was over. Ford had to adapt, fast. Amid the tariff storm, Ford's American manufacturing presence became its greatest asset. As global trade tensions escalated and tariffs threatened to upend the auto industry, Ford's decision to keep the bulk of its production on U.S. soil proved to be a masterstroke. While competitors scrambled to adjust their supply chains, Ford's commitment to domestic manufacturing set it apart. CEO Jim Farley highlighted that 79% of Ford vehicles sold in the U.S. are assembled domestically, far more than GM's 53%. This isn't just a statistic, it's a reflection of Ford's deep investment in American workers and communities. Every truck and SUV rolling off a U.S. assembly line strengthens the company's bond with its home market. This insulates Ford from the worst of the import tariffs, giving it a cost advantage over rivals. While others face rising expenses and logistical headaches, Ford's domestic focus means fewer disruptions and more predictable pricing for customers. Ford is also the largest employer of hourly auto workers and the top exporter among Detroit automakers. Its factories support tens of thousands of families, and its exports help balance America's trade ledger. Its deep U.S. roots now provide both economic and political strength. Lawmakers and consumers alike see Ford as a symbol of American resilience, which can translate into goodwill and support during uncertain times. While not immune, Ford still imports some models and parts. Its core business is anchored on American soil. This balance allows Ford to remain flexible, adapting to global shifts, while keeping its foundation strong at home. This foundation gives Ford breathing room and a strategic platform for its next moves. Whether it's investing in electric vehicles or navigating new trade policies, Ford's American base is a launchpad for innovation and growth. In a world of trade barriers, building at home is now the ultimate edge. Ford's ability to weather economic storms and adapt quickly is rooted in its decision to invest in America. Ford's American identity is its fortress, a source of pride, stability, and a powerful competitive advantage in an unpredictable world. Facing $2.5 billion in tariff-related costs, Ford launched an aggressive cost-saving campaign. The company rerouted vehicles through Canada to legally avoid some U.S. duties, saving about $1 billion. Ford also made tough calls, like canceling its ambitious FNV4 electrical architecture project to free up capital. These moves were about more than survival. They signaled a shift toward a more resilient, less globalized operational model. Ford is now reviewing its entire supply chain, planning major adjustments over the next year. Production locations will shift to minimize tariff exposure. The company has already suspended exports to China. Ford is retreating from hyper-globalization, reorienting its manufacturing footprint for a fragmented world. The playbook: adapt, cut costs, and build resilience. Tariffs are painful, but Ford's leadership sees a bigger threat: the rise of Chinese automakers. BYD's global sales surged 58% in Q1 2025, outselling Ford, GM, and Stellantis combined. BYD's vertical integration and battery expertise let it innovate and cut costs at a pace legacy automakers can't match. Western automakers' profits in China have plummeted 40% in 3 years, as domestic brands dominate with better, cheaper products. Ford and GM are now restructuring their Chinese operations, fighting to stay relevant. The days of easy profits in China are over. Competing with China's speed means Ford must become faster, leaner, and more agile. The challenge isn't just building better cars, it's keeping up with a new global tempo. Despite tariffs and fierce competition, Ford remains committed to electric vehicles, but the transition is costly. EV demand has cooled, just as Ford's Model E division racks up billions in losses. $5.5 billion expected in 2025 alone. The company has already lost over $10 billion since 2023 on EV investments. To control costs, Ford canceled the FNV4 project and shifted focus to smaller, more affordable EVs and new battery chemistries. The losses are painful, but Ford knows abandoning EVs would mean ceding the future to Chinese rivals. The company must balance investing in an unprofitable venture with managing immediate crises. It's a high-stakes balancing act that will define Ford's future. The EV race is a marathon, not a sprint. The dual pressures of tariffs and Chinese competition have forced a new conversation in Detroit collaboration. Ford's John Lawler admits U.S. automakers can't match China's scale and speed alone. The old model of fierce rivalry is giving way to talk of partnerships, joint ventures, and even industry consolidation. Pooling resources for battery tech, software, and supply chains could help American and European automakers compete. The tariff crisis has made sharing burdens more attractive than ever. We may soon see Ford and rivals co-developing EV platforms or investing together in domestic battery supply. The era of rugged individualism is ending. Strategic cooperation is now a necessity. Survival may depend on building a collective defense. Ford's response to this perfect storm is clear-eyed adaptation, not panic. In a world where uncertainty has become the new normal, Ford is choosing to face challenges head-on, with a steady hand and a willingness to evolve. The company recognizes that resilience is not just about weathering the storm, but about learning from it and emerging stronger on the other side. The company is doubling down on its American manufacturing base, using it as both shield and weapon. By investing in its roots, Ford is reinforcing its commitment to American workers and communities, while also ensuring that its supply chains remain robust and flexible in the face of global disruptions. Ford is re-engineering supply chains, making tough cuts, and pivoting quickly to counter threats. This means rethinking how materials are sourced, how factories operate, and how quickly the company can respond to sudden changes in demand or supply. Every decision is made with an eye toward long-term stability and growth. The EV transition continues, but with a focus on affordability and sustainability. Ford is determined to make electric vehicles accessible to more people, while also reducing its environmental impact. This dual focus is shaping the company's research, development, and production strategies for the future. Embracing new alliances marks a major shift in strategy. Ford is reaching beyond its traditional boundaries, seeking out partners who can help accelerate innovation, share risks, and open up new markets. These collaborations are essential for staying competitive in a rapidly changing industry. Ford's future may depend on sharing the cost of innovation and achieving global scale through partnerships. By working together with other industry leaders, Ford can pool resources, access new technologies, and bring groundbreaking products to market faster than ever before. By leveraging its domestic strength and adapting to new realities, Ford aims not just to survive but to lead. The company is committed to setting the pace for the industry, using its experience and scale to shape the future of mobility. The next chapter of automotive history will be written by those who adapt fastest. Innovation, flexibility, and a relentless drive to improve will separate the leaders from the rest. Ford is investing in its people and technology to ensure it remains at the forefront of this transformation. Ford is determined to be among them, forging a path forward with courage, vision, and a deep respect for its heritage.